Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Word to your mother.
Oh, good no. Oh, no.
Yeah. Say hi to your mother for me.
Oh, hey. Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
Nice. It's going so well. Yeah.
We're good at this.
Yeah.
We're back.
Well, hashtag last year of the podcast.
No, I'm back, though. I've been here 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I mean, listen. That's good. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, oh, no.
Yeah.
Why are you looking up Zeppelins.com?
Yeah. Sell off all Zeppelins.com.
We've got a review.
Ooh, very nice.
A 5-star review, number 203. Google review of Playa Ocotal, which I don't know what that is. I think it might be a part of Mexico.
I think it must be a beach, right? Playa.
Yeah.
As a
Playa.
It could be Playa.
Yeah, but it might be Playa. You're right.
Yeah.
From my brother.
Right.
Who says, listening to the 5-star Canadian podcast award-winning Dr. DC podcast at this beach on my loudspeaker so others could hear it too. Most of the people on the beach didn't speak English, so they didn't understand why I kept high-fiving myself.
This is the second loudspeaker suggestion review from your brother.
Yes, exactly. It's been a common thing, and I appreciate it.
I like it.
Also,
I'm also assuming it's not made up.
no, my brother, it's definitely something he's done.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, knowing my brother, it's absolutely a thing that he's done.
Love it. Love that.
Speaking of brothers,
this
episode's about twins.
Yeah, baby.
Twins. So nice.
Yeah, double trouble.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Double your pleasure.
Easy.
Double your fun.
That's twins. That's fucked up.
It's the statement of the great mint.
You're
gum.
problematic now.
Nice. Twins.
Yeah, we're talking about twins. I thought that'd be fun. There are quite a number of twins in DC.
Step twin.
No, real twins.
Oh, I guess you can't have step
real twins. I'm not doing any step episodes. I'm going to say that right now.
What?
There will never be a step episode.
Yes, Alex, my time has come. I'll take step siblings for 400. Yeah, we're talking about, are we talking about, like, identical twins mostly?
Both kinds.
But, like,
identical, fraternal. But
typically when they show up on comics, I would assume that they'd be identical.
I mean, there's a decent number of identical twins, but we've got examples of other ones as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are like a number of canonical fraternal twins and stuff too. Yeah,
we're a fraternity of twins. Yes, a fraternity.
Yeah, you got pledge.
Of twins.
You got pledge.
Yeah. Well, we got a shitload of questions.
All right.
So I don't want to pretend like we're friends, and I just want to get to these questions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm ready for that. That's fine.
I didn't want to pretend because I feel that way for real.
That seemed to come really easily for you.
What? Huh?
Just like saying a thing that you've been thinking.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I think this friendship is over.
Edit point.
I don't want to podcast anymore. Let's get into the questions. We're starting on Facebook.
Going to the face of the book. Going to the Facebook. Oh, man. Is this the first time you're going to have to edit in like a while?
Yeah, fuck it. I don't care.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it.
I don't edit. You're the one who edits.
Fine.
Even after things go out.
Well, yeah.
Consistently. And then you talk about editing it so people... So it
One
kind of...
time. I mean, you would... But that one, you would know that I edited it because I just put a giant beep over it.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah, I thought it was funnier. Then it's like, what did he say?
I like that you're like, this is still funny, but I don't
I don't want to lose the bit. You kidding me?
Also, it doesn't really
Trust me to make the funny decision, even
that's-
if it's like technically because I'm worried about something.
But also, like, you don't really leave a lot to the imagination of what it could be about.
That's true. I mean, truly, it was like a purely futile effort.
Yes.
There's no because I immediately on Angel Radio just said what I said.
It's true.
There's no reason.
It's behind a paywall. They're already initiated.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care if they know. It's the random casual people bombing in.
Yes, that's true. All right. First question on Facebook comes from Truth, Justice, and Hope, a Superman podcast.
Doing a lot of free plugging for another podcast.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of our fault for calling the names of these
Check
things.
better be in the mail. Oh, actually, no, it can't be. There's no mail address.
Oh,
right
no. That's right. We haven't figured that piece
now.
out.
E-transfer.
Oh, yeah. Just send us an e-transfer instead now. Here's our address. This is our PayPal account.
Yeah.
You can send whatever you want to that PayPal account.
Yeah.
Whatever it allow you to send, that's what you can send.
Uh-oh.
It's money. It's only money.
I don't know, man.
You don't know how PayPal works?
No.
I mean, that's clear.
I only use PayPal when I buy things from the States,
That's fair.
and I can't e-transfer.
I grew up watching the Wonder Twins on Challenge of the Super Friends.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm old. When I was little, I thought their powers were amazing. But in retrospect, the use of their powers on Super Friends was very silly. Can you talk about their powers and how they may have put to better use in their comic book appearances?
Yeah, so the Wonder Twins, Zan and Jaina, they started on that cartoon on Challenge of the Super Friends. And these are the ones where they had to fist bump and they go, Wonder Twin powers activate. And one would go like, form of steam. And the other would go like, form of rhinoceros. And they would turn into stuff. And it was always ridiculous. So Zan can only turn into water. I say only, but any kind. Like solid, liquid, gas, and in any shape or whatever.
Okay.
He could be like form of typhoon, or he could be like form of ice giant sculpture, or like he could be like whatever he wanted, but it had to be water adjacent. Jaina,
Form of pre-cum.
I mean, he could.
He slipped on the glisten.
Jesus Christ! What the fuck? Well, yeah, and then what Jaina could do is Jaina could turn into any animal.
Oh my god! Together they could become cum.
Like fictional, or like alien or whatever. So she could be like form of horse, and he could be like form of horse cum.
Though together they could become cum because there's life in there.
Oh,
plus
right.
Liquid.
Yeah.
They would all. That's the one thing they had to combine
They
to
could
become.
become. They could become.
Whoa! They can become cum.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a wonder that children's cartoon never took that opportunity to explore how their powers work.
Together they'll make life.
But they started on that cartoon, very silly cartoon. That's the cartoon where you see like a bunch of silly Aquaman shit and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So Zan and Jaina, they're the Wonder Twins. That is how their powers work. Zan, only water adjacent.
Yeah.
Jaina, only animals. They must make physical contact and say Wonder Twins activate, and then they would have to specify what. And if they didn't, if they said, like, they actually have to use words. Like if Jaina said the wrong name of an animal, she'd turn into something wrong.
Oh.
Like she didn't know in her head what a giraffe was and couldn't say giraffe. She couldn't become a giraffe.
Wow.
Same thing applies to Zan and whatever the fuck he's doing with water. They also had an alien like monkey named Gleek.
Okay.
Gleek didn't really have particular powers of his own, but they could use him if they couldn't reach far enough.
Oh.
Like he could
really?
like be a conduit for their powers.
So they could like double fist him and like.
I mean, maybe not how I'd put it, but
One goes in his mouth, one goes in his hand.
children's cartoon. I mean, like, Mom, Dad, Zan and Jaina the Eiffel Tower Gleek to get their powers.
Or you use his fucking tail and hand or something, whatever.
Yeah. I think Zan and Jaina may have also had Poco, like telepathic link.
Oh.
I don't know if it was like full like send thoughts speaking to each other or just like a vague sense that the other one was near or in trouble or whatever, but I think they had a bit of that too. So the question here, talk about their powers, how they may have been put to better use in their comic book appearances. I mean, I do think there have been a few attempts to... The Wonder Twins are funny because they have made a few canonical appearances. They're part of DC, but because they have this start on the silly cartoon, there's been kind of a reluctance to accept that they like exist.
Yeah.
Which is sort of funny. But there have been attempts, and some of the more successful ones are the ones that acknowledge that they're a little bit silly.
Yeah.
And then give them some emotional depth. Any attempt to make them like serious has been met with like extreme failure.
Have they have done it?
They have. We have a question about it later, and I'll speak to it. But like maybe the most joyless comic I've read in the last little while was their like first appearance canonically in the 90s.
Somebody overcompensating. Yeah,
it's like a 90s comic.
Oh God.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to the next question.
All right.
From Braden Ketty, they ask, will DC please just rename Barry Allen's kids instead of just naming them Dawn and Dawn? It's not funny anymore, guys. What do you suggest Barry and Iris name their twins?
So, Dawn, D-O-N.
Yeah.
And Dawn, D-A-W-N.
Yeah. I could tell by the way you said it.
Down. Are Barry and Iris's children.
Yeah.
They're twins. Fraternal twins, obviously.
Yeah.
But they get powers.
I mean, not necessarily, but yeah.
Well, because one is assigned male at birth and one is assigned female at birth.
Okay.
They kind of, by definition, must be fraternal twins, is what I mean.
Okay.
They're not identical.
Yes. Wow.
Stop trying to like entrap me. I was
bad
right.
guy Reed
I said
again.
used the right word.
Bad guy Reed again.
Huh.
Two genders Reed. Here it comes.
No. There's 5.
And that's all there's allowed.
And
to
I
be.
will specify them now.
A thing no one's asking you to do.
I will.
Okay. Best way that could have ended.
The 5 genders are
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
McDonald's,
Wait, what?
Wendy's,
Wait, hold on.
KFC, A&W,
Those are fast food restaurants. How are those genders?
and Domino's Pizza.
Never mind. He fixed it. Say clutch. Got it in the clutch.
Nailed it. Anyway, this question, Dawn and Dawn. They're Barry.
Fuck is going
They're
on?
Barry and Iris's twin children. They get powers. They're known as the Tornado Twins. They get like Speed Force powers, but they're the Tornado Twins. What is the question? Why are their names Dawn and Dawn? Because they're trying to be like clever that they have twins and they got matching names. You know, one's they sound the same, but one's like a boy name, but one's a girl name. It's the exact same joke that gets used with Hawk and Dove, because the original Dove, Dawn Hall, is D-O-N, and it gets replaced with Dawn Granger, D-A-W-N.
Sure.
It's the exact same joke from somewhere else as well.
Does it bug you? Do you want them to change the names?
I don't care.
Yeah.
They're essentially nothing characters.
Oh,
like we
okay.
see grandchildren, we see, great whatevers of the Flash family.
Yeah.
Dawn and Dawn essentially don't exist.
Okay.
We see Wally's kids all the time. Barry and Iris's kids are like eventually they have them, and then there's grandchildren and stuff after that. But you kind of just go like, but when? And they're like,
Fair.
Like they almost don't exist. They're like more like conceptual than anything. But there was the most recent appearance of them probably was in an arc called Legion of Zoom, which was in the Williamson run of Flash, which I really liked. And in that one, Thawne was going to like different timelines and future and past and pulling like the greatest Flash villains together to fight the Flash.
Yeah.
And he found this timeline with the Tornado Twins, who were bad guys because Barry was never around. He was an absent dad or whatever. And so the Tornado Twins showed up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably their most recent significant appearance. His It's already 4 years old,
Yeah,
3 years old, so they don't show up a lot.
fair.
So I don't care enough about that. But if you had to rename them, what names would you give them?
Max and Chelsea.
I would make their names Mary and Cyrus so that they rhymed with Barry and Iris.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's a better idea.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, though. What's the next question?
Well, I hope you've had dinner because
Yeah, that's always a concern.
yeah, because those are not your peas to eat. Those are John's peas.
This is a clunkier one.
Any of them been good?
You used to be good at this, man.
it's yeah. I used to be great.
Yeah, John's peas.
Yeah. It's no Raging G, but it'll be fine.
That's true.
John's Peas asks, if you and Richard were Wonder Twins, what would y'all take the form of?
Right.
Come.
Well, first of all, no, I'm not joining with you to be
No. I'm allowed to be any type of cum.
Well, no, I was going to say,
Any
which one
animals
of us
come.
is Zan and which is Jaina? I'm assuming the rules still apply of what we could turn into.
No, I think it's saying like we get to do our own thing.
But let's just say if you could turn into anything. This is,
Yeah.
we're Wonder Twins.
We're our
Do
own
you want to
type
be
of
the
Wonder
shitty
Twins.
water one or the animal one?
Oh, I'll do the animal one.
Okay, I'll be the shitty water
But
one.
no, let's change the question to if we could
I
turn
wanted-
into a type of thing, what would it be?
I'll still just be something shitty in water. I like form of champagne.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I think canonically that works because I know champagne is only partly water, but Zan has turned himself into other chemical makeups before, like
As long as water's part
like
of it.
liquid nitrogen. Like
Sure.
he's like those powers get a little like it's adjacent, like
Sure.
they realize his power sucks. So I'd be like form of champagne.
yeah. I just turn into a person.
Oh, technically an animal.
Any type of person though. I would just like copy people's looks. I do the X-Men what's her name thing.
Right, but so what I'm sensing here is this is mostly so you can camouflage, but you need me to transform. So you're always just holding an empty champagne flute so that I can go form of champagne, and then you can say form of
Random person.
John Smith.
It's
and
just
then-
always a person holding champagne.
yeah, because you always need me there
Yes.
to activate your power.
And I'm like, really? We're not construction site.
They're
It
like,
does
"Are
not
you gonna
make
drink that you've been holding for like 2 hours?" You're like, "No."
Actually, yeah. Gulp, gulp, gulp.
Right, but then the power wears off. I just burst out of your chest.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that's the unfun version of that question.
That was pretty fun. Why? What did you want to turn into that wasn't an animal or water based?
Vehicle?
Really?
Any vehicle?
Oh,
That'd be cool.
I guess.
I could turn into like a time machine.
Oh, okay. I'd be form of
Uh-huh.
kite.
Any type of kite.
Just a kite. Kite on the wind. How freeing.
In some places we don't really like the What?
Wow.
What? I talked about the
I don't know, man.
I don't like them.
Looks like someone's gonna be working his bleep magic again.
I say that after that accent, then it sounds like I'm saying the thing, but I'm not saying anything.
I'm gonna bleep it anyway. I think it's funnier.
Those filthy.
Jesus, stop making me bleep things. I'm gonna have to make a reminder for me.
Don't
too.
do that.
So
Don't
then I'll
'cause then it'll
forget.
sound like I'm saying the thing.
Hey Siri,
Do not. Siri, don't do it.
reminder.
Siri, cancel.
Reminder. Bleep out
Cancel.
all the stuff from the Dr. DC episode. Yeah, I know. I don't make one.
Don't do it, Siri.
Make a reminder.
Siri, stop.
For Tuesday,
Don't-
January 10th,
Yeah.
to cut out or bleep out the stuff from the Dr. DC episode.
Don't do it, Siri. You bitch.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
No, because then it's going to sound like I'm saying the bad thing.
Yep.
That's not funny. That just makes me look bad.
I don't know. I think it's fun.
It's not like the thing that you did.
I don't know. I think it's fun, so...
There's never been a funny thing that happened on this podcast that was only funny for one person.
So antagonistic.
All right. Let's go to the next question.
Sure.
We're leaving Facebook and heading on over to Twitter.
That's Twitter.
First question from Twitter comes from Kyle, who asks, what twins have the most twin-cast energy?
Oh.
The Wonder Twins?
I mean, I think there have been, like, parody things that play that on the Wonder Twins.
Like the SNL things or whatever?
Yeah.
The ambiguously gay duo?
There's, on Young Justice in season 1 or season 2, I can't remember.
Yep.
They introduced what are they called? The Terror Twins or it's these two kind of super strong characters. And Superboy and Miss Martian go undercover as them. Like,
oh, okay.
They is in the Star Trek way, they do up Superboy to look like the one, and Miss Martian can shapeshift. So she becomes the other. And because they have a romance, there's like a moment where like they come together, but in their disguises. And like Icicle Jr. is like, wait, isn't she your like?
Oh, weird.
Like, it's not an actual thing, but they play.
That's close, yeah.
They play that. Of all the twins, the most twincest energy. That's tricky. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. There's not one that springs to me. Like if this was Marvel, I'd be like, it's obviously Pietro and Wanda.
Oh, sure.
Especially in that ultimate,
yeah,
one, right? But not that I can think of in DC.
Yeah.
It's not one where I'm like, oh, this is the one we all always talk about.
Yeah.
I think they generally haven't done that.
Thankfully.
I think.
All right, let's go to the next question then.
Sure.
From our favorite religious representative, Chris Chan.
Sorry, right?
Yep.
I usually...
Yep. In the shade...
I'll edit that. I'll fix it all.
No, stop.
I'll fix it all.
You're getting way too into editing.
Unlimited cosmic power.
I should never have taught him how to edit. In the shade of the changing...
No. Unlimited power.
In Shade the Changing Man,
sure,
numbers 27 to 29,
right.
How were Naomi and Miriam able to feel the psychic effects of each other? Was there some sort of supernatural connection between the two?
Yeah, they feel the physical effects between each other. So, in Shade the Changing Man, a very interesting, great series, but suitably weird. At one point, because Shade is from planet Meta, which is like in another dimension.
Sure.
To anchor Shade in our dimension needs like a host. And tried to take hosts that like when he took a host, it would kill the host. So he tried to take people that were like, we're gonna die anyway. Like there was like a death row inmate, and the one that he takes is someone who's in a bad car crash.
Okay.
And then Shade discovers that this person is a woman, and he's having like an awkward time of it. And as part of that, he starts exploring her past, her memories. I can't remember which one it is. It's either Naomi or Miriam.
Sure.
And he learns that like they would take each other's place a bunch and stuff like that. But there's this whole thing about like them getting kidnapped or something like that, and they can feel the effects of the other one. I think the only thing that issue is trying to play at is that sort of like anecdotal thing about twins. Like I don't think it's meant to be
like a specific superpower.
That it's a specific superpower or anything like that. I think it's trying to play off that idea of like twins, when one twin is sick, the other feels it, or like I think it's just supposed to be that sort of like the sympathetic biology kind of theory of twins. That's my reading of it, but yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Peter Milligan has a different thought on that, but to me, it's just playing with that idea in a book that's playing with the idea of reality and relationships to body and soul and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that already kind of exists in the real world, which is like this weird connection twins have.
Yeah,
highlighting that.
Yeah, and it's not like this thing happens after Shade is possessing one.
Oh, okay.
This is a memory, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they have a connection, or had a connection rather. So, I think it's just meant to be that.
Okay. Next question comes from Mosaic Comics, and they ask,
all right,
has the motive of darkness and light come to define much of Jade and Obsidian's lives? It seems like Todd is always wrestling with his own suffering and despair, while Jenny gets to live a mostly happy life with more overt ties to their father's legacy.
I mean, that was certainly the case at the beginning. So
motif, sorry.
So Jenny Lynn Hayden and Todd Rice, they are Jade and Obsidian. They are the twin children of Golden Age Green Lantern Alan Scott and the Golden Age supervillain Thorn.
Oh.
Jade has like green energy powers, like she has part of the Star Heart and stuff like that.
Yep.
Todd gets like shadow powers, like control over the Shadowlands and stuff like that, because he gets that because Alan Scott had been exposed to Shadow Realm by fighting Ian Karkull and stuff like that.
That's cool as hell.
That gets passed to Todd. These two twins, they're split up at birth. Like Alan doesn't even know about them. Eventually they all come together. But there's this whole arc for Todd where, while Jenny is like, I'm Alan Scott's kid and like powers, green, goes joins the Green Lanterns, like does these kind of things. Todd has this whole arc of like the shadows take over and he gets like schizophrenia that he inherited from his mother.
Oh, wow.
And he gets like the Shadow Realm kind of like infects him. Ian Karkull like corrupts him. All these things. He kind of has like a kind of heel turn, a villain arc or whatever. But he eventually comes out of it. I would actually argue that, not that they've shown up a ton, but the last, whatever you want to call it, 15 or so years when they have shown up, Obsidian is through that. He has a long-term romantic partner. Now that Alan has also come out as gay in main continuity, Todd is actually there to support him. Like, there's no more animosity between them or like, you were never there, Dad. Like, there's none of that bullshit. Yeah. I actually think they're through it. So it's one of those things where it's like, listen, if you have one kid that is like has light powers and the other kid has darkness powers, you're going to explore that however heavy-handed it may be. But I actually think Obsidian is so far past that if they did it again, it would feel wrong. It would feel like a big step backward. That's not to say that never happens with other characters. Other characters get stuck in a, well, this is what they're about kind of vortex. But I think there's an opportunity with them too because they were gone for so long. They've only just come back. We've seen the kind of happy versions in Infinite Frontier and all of that kind of stuff. And I think that we can actually just move on with it. Have a shadow character who's kind of like not lighthearted, but like kind of free of some of that burden and things like that. And, I mean, if anything, Jenny has gone through more trauma since coming back than Todd has. You could, if you wanted to do it, just flip the script a little bit. But I think it's fine for them to just be like, no, we're the children of Alan Scott and things are good.
Yeah. All right, let's leave Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
First question comes from Liam K. Willis, who asks, whoa, never knew Booster had a twin. Please, more info.
Yeah, her name is Michelle Carter. She goes by Gold Star.
Oh.
She also comes back in time, but I can't remember why. Booster goes back in time because his life is bullshit, and he's like, "I'll be a superhero." I can't remember why Michelle comes back in time, but they're twins. And she comes back, and they team up and work together in that. I think she gets killed.
Ooh.
I think she dies. You know what? I'm just gonna actually look that up because I'm not sure what her current standing is, because as you know, continuity is
Fluid.
a tricky thing. I guess I can't just type Gold Star. I've got a DC Comics. I'm pretty sure she died though, but she might be like back in.
But she was.
Let's
it's
have
interesting
a
that
look
Gold Star
here.
had the same sort of like the name is very similar to Booster Gold. Gold
Yeah.
Star.
Well, I think that it's all intentional,
Yeah.
you know. So she traveled back to be a superhero.
similar
Revealed
concept.
to be Booster Gold founder, brought her to the present. She stays there. Doesn't she die? Well, I guess maybe not. At any rate, she's in a bunch of kind of Booster Gold adventures, but it's the same sort of thing. She has future tech. She's got a suit. She benefits from Skeets knowing the historical record.
Yeah.
It's Booster doesn't have powers, right? It's all tech, energy, blasts, and a Legion flight ring and stuff like that. So she also just has
And the
tech.
knowledge of the future.
I mean, he doesn't have that though.
Oh.
He's just like a football dropout,
Oh, sure.
like night
His
watchman.
sister does though.
No, but like I mean, as much as you or I,
Oh,
if
sure.
we went back 500 years, we know like a bit, but like like we don't know the historical record.
I do always like that thing where it's like they show like a guy going back and he's got like an iPhone and they're like, "Oh, cool. How does it work?" And it's like, I don't
It
know.
doesn't.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not in my time. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and I don't know how it would work.
I mean, yeah, that piece too. Yeah. To be honest, I don't think she's shown up since Flashpoint
Yeah.
in the New 52 or later. I don't think she has. I don't mind like Booster Gold having, but like it kind of feels like
Gimmicky, like-
extraneous,
yeah.
slightly gimmicky. She also travels back in time, but like.
yeah.
It's just there's not like a lot to it. Like the Rip Hunter retcon that Rip is Booster's
Kid.
son is interesting. That's Rip was already a character or whatever, but that's like there's like an interesting thing, and Booster doesn't know because Booster told him never to tell. Like
Yeah.
it's part of that like layering of Booster's character where he's actually like this great hero
This important.
who has learned all of his lessons and he
Yeah.
knows it all, but he can't play it that
So
way.
he has to pretend like he's still this.
Like
vapid-
that's awesome. I feel like Michelle's stuff was always more like you're gonna have to watch out for her. Like it's a little more
Sure.
like not full damsel-y, but it was like now Booster's got to like worry. There's
Yeah.
always something over there, and I think that's less interesting, less
Sure.
fun. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question from Delgado Andrew, who asks, "What's an interesting twist you could put on Masimanos to make them more than a Flash with a drawback? Or does their gimmick make them interesting on its own?"
So Mas y Menos are characters that first show up. Oh, they might first show up on the Teen Titans cartoon.
Really? I think you're right, actually.
And in that show, so they're twins. They have
Yeah.
to make physical contact, and then they can run at super speed. And
It's like Wonder Twins meets the Flash, yeah.
kind of, yeah. And then there was also a thing, and I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was on the original Teen Titans show or if it's just a Teen Titans Go thing, where if they didn't
Touch?
touch, then their power would keep building up. It would be like dangerous. Like they had to like burn it off, like running. I don't remember if that was always a thing or if it's just Teen Titans Go.
Okay.
But then they did make a comic appearance. They showed up in the mid 2000s in the Teen Titans comic. Yeah, Masimenos. What would I Do I think they're that? I think the idea of the energy buildup thing,
Yeah.
if that is always part of it, that's the bit that makes it different.
Well, and then can they use that independently? Maybe not for speed, but like
Because that feels like, I'm going to say a bunch of jibber jabber because I can't think of anything like specific, but that feels like a scientific phenomenon. Like if you have like some sort of like twinned particles, but don't separate them. Or it feels, like a person and a familiar. Don't separate. Like
yeah.
I'm thinking like Golden Compass rules or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
There's something interesting about like how do we take the twin thing and make it meaningful? And it's like, well, we actually are like tied together.
Yeah.
Our power is actually dangerous apart. We need to be together.
Yeah.
Being twins is part of the power.
Yeah.
So that the Wonder Twins have that by needing to fist bump and do their thing. Masimenos have that too, but I think it's more interesting their way. It's not just like our powers only work. Like I don't know that I love that they have to make contact to use the powers. Maybe that's the only way it works though. But to me, they're interesting. But I don't know if they've shown up
in the comics.
I don't know if they've shown up in the comics, even like after making that appearance or those appearances or whatever in the mid 2000s. Like even before Flashpoint, if you asked me if Masimenos are like in DC, I'd be like,
I mean, I think there's something interesting with that power thing. I think maybe if they like touch somebody else, they could potentially like fuck them up or something.
And I think maybe the other part of what I like about it is the idea of like their names too are plus and minus, right? That's Masimenos. So it's like the idea of like charged particles and only they can cancel each other out, like it would maybe, because they're already speed powers, maybe it's like one has a natural somehow access to the negative speed force. One has the positive speed force, but somehow they're tied, like you do some shit like that, like
also if they go feet to feet, maybe one of them gets shot far.
Oh, like with magnets?
Yeah,
like you're thinking, But I mean, that's the sort of shit where if they were kind of Speed Force characters, the Flash does that shit all the time where it's like, well, if I do this, you're like Flash fact to use science to use the power in a new way. There's nothing to say
they couldn't start
you
playing
couldn't
with all
do
that
that,
stuff.
I think that would be fun. So maybe it's just give them the Speed Force.
Yeah. I agree.
Although there was kind of a thing with Jay and Irie West, like Wally's kids, that they had to be together, or that the Speed Force would always draw them together. So maybe it's already kind of been done, and people kind of were like, "Why would we waste that on Masimenos?"
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. From the real Josh Gill, who asks, are there any sets of twins where one's power and one isn't? How does it play out?
Ooh.
Also, does the empowered one break bad? Do they follow a certain trope? I mean, they were kind of playing with that the Lois and Clark show or whatever.
Yeah, the boys aren't twins though, are they?
No.
Like one is meant to be older?
Maybe.
Although that's a good question too.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe they're not.
I can't
But yes,
remember.
they were playing with that idea.
Yeah.
That one has powers and the other doesn't. And in that case, there is a certain level of resentment.
And the kid goes sort of bad. Yeah.
There's an element to that for sure.
Yeah. But then he ends up, I think they both end up having powers, or no. I can't remember.
Well, they did a kind of like you get like a Bizarro world thing.
Yeah,
and stuff with them. But twins where one got powers and one didn't.
Not that I can think of.
Not offhand. I'm sure there's one out
Or
there.
one where like maybe one of them lost their powers?
That has probably happened, just in the. But that's more like that's a Fred and George scenario, right?
Yes.
It's meant to be tragic that you've lost this other half, as opposed to like that kind of like the resentment kind of thing. Not that I can think of, but again, because normally the DC thing with twins is like twins. What can we do with twin powers? Like
Yes.
and you explore it. So and you explore it in different ways. You either go like they have opposite powers, like Jenny and Todd, or you go they both get the Speed Force, like Jay and Irie, or you go, whatever. They're both fast, Masimenos, or they like you're always exploring something pretty specific, and it's about them being twins.
Sure.
Because otherwise, I'll put it this way: there might be one out there, but it's just like a thing about their character. It's not significant that they are a twin.
Sure.
They might have just said, "Oh, I've got a twin brother," in the way that like someone just might say, "I've got 3 sisters" or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a thing where it's like that's a twin character. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
like
yeah,
so.
yeah. If they're
there-
twins, they both have powers.
There may be one out there, and I'm just not thinking of it because in one issue they say, oh, I've got a twin brother. And you go, oh, okay, interesting, good to know.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's like a brother without powers thing is a thing. You know, that's like Martian Manhunter and Ma'ala Fa'ak, but they're also like half brothers. They're not twins.
Sure.
That feels like a move that you would do, though, if you're adapting something to a movie and you're just like, I want to just make this more wrenching. And you kind of like just change it a bit, you know, in the way that like the Burton Batman's like, what if the Joker killed his parents?
Yes.
You know, like it would be like that kind of change. It feels like that would be a thing that would happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next question comes from ABC.
Brooks.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Brooks.
It's easy as do, re, mi.
Brooks.
ABC.
Brooks.
1, 2, 3.
Brooks.
Baby, you and me, Brooks.
Brooks. Brooks, Brooks.
Cool. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Brooks.
Hashtag last year of the podcast.
Brooks, no! ABC Brooks asks, Doctor and producer Dick, I guess. Cool.
Huh.
I mean, I don't fucking answer these questions. I don't care.
Do you know what? Just for that, you have to answer this one.
Why has Diana's twin brother Jason not caught on more in comics? And do you have any great story ideas for Jason?
Go on, Richard. So fucking smug about it.
Look, if it was any value, it would have gotten to the comics.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. Do I have a great story ideas? Yeah, give him something cooler to do.
Huh.
See, this isn't
So for
hard
those
at
who
all.
don't know, Diana
I think I explained it.
had, because again, continuity is a funny thing, a twin brother named Jason. This was revealed after Darkseid War or during Darkseid War,
Sure.
that on the night that Diana was born, Hippolyta also gave birth to a boy named Jason.
So this isn't clearly like the made out of clay thing or whatever.
No, this is because in the New 52, Diana is Zeus's son.
Okay.
There's a
Diana
sort of
Zeus's son?
yeah, or daughter. Sorry, right. I mean, whatever. Words are words.
What is gender, right?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, fair.
There's
There's only 5. That's all that matters.
only 5. Diana is Zeus's McDonald's.
Okay, that clears things up for me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So in this case, both Diana and Jason,
Yeah.
they share both parents. They're twins.
Do they both have the same powers?
No. So Jason is obviously sent to live somewhere else because no men allowed on the island. Doesn't matter if they're
Fair.
your kid. And Jason is raised by this guy named Glaucus, and he eventually learns about his parentage. and
Yeah.
that. But Jason eventually gets this special armor. I think it's like it might be called the armor of Zeus or something, but the special armor that is intended originally for Diana, but he gets it. It's bonded to him. He gets it by mistake, but then it's too late to not be his. And the armor gives him the ability to channel the power of any Olympian one at a time.
I mean, this is kind of answering that other question, which is like he didn't have powers. He has his armor.
I mean, he was like strong. Like he was like an Amazon. You know what I mean? Like
But like wasn't like, because the whole thing with Diana is that she's not just an Amazon. She's also got extra abilities because of her parentage, right? Like,
yeah, and I mean whether that's because it's the Zeus thing or because she's like a gift from the gods made
Yeah,
of clay.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
something.
but regardless, she's more powerful than her brother
she is. But
outside of that armor.
But
at
yeah,
least.
so he gets this armor. He can channel any power of
Yeah.
any Olympian, but only one at a time. It's Ultra Boy rules.
Sure.
But he does use it in interesting ways. Like it's not just like here's Zeus wind powers or like
Sure.
whatever. He also uses like Dolos, who's like the god of lies. He uses that ability to just like be more convincing.
Oh wow.
Like it's actually kind of like, I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
But he kind of goes out a little bit on like he sort of sacrifices himself to stop these dark gods from the dark multiverse. But then he does come back, but he goes, time for a quiet life, and he sort of disappears. And then but then you kind of go like, well, I mean, he's sort of like, he's kind of just like not around anymore. He's probably out there somewhere. Yeah, Jesus.
Time for a quiet life.
Good Lord. You think that's what he meant?
Yeah.
Just a Zeus thunderbolt? Oh my God. That's fucking grim as shit. I don't know that I have a great idea for a Jason story, but I think the key would be for it not to be in Diana's book. If you want to explore Jason, you should just go explore him.
Do you think that there's not like a story there of like similar to like Aquaman where it's like he wants the throne? And
I think we're kind of past it. He kind of had a heel turn and then came back and stuff. Like he was being manipulated by Grail, by Darkseid and stuff like that. And he sort of came back from that. I that to me is less interesting than like his name is Jason. He's literally named for like he of the Argonauts.
Sure.
Give him like an adventure book. Yeah. You know, give him 6 issues to like tackle weird like mythology challenges.
I'd love
you know,
that.
like something like that I think is fun. Like, you know, it's what I'm describing is more fun than the book I'm about to reference. But like, I'm really liking Sword of Azrael right now.
Yeah.
And a big part of it is because it's just about Azrael. It's about Azrael. It's about the Order of Saint Dumas. It's about whether or not he's got an actual angel in him.
Sure, yeah.
It's about like spirituality. It's about technology. It's about, you know, like it's a Azrael book. It's not Azrael in Gotham doing some other bullshit.
Sure.
So to me, that's the move with Jason. If you're going to do something, just give him space away from Diana and Hippolyta and the Amazons and just let him go on a mythology adventure. Let him ride a fucking Hydra or whatever, you know, like that kind of shit. Let him have a Percy Jackson.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right, let's leave Instagram and head on over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
From Bladent, who asks, if you and Richard were twins, what would your special twin powers be?
Oh, just regular twins or like twins with power? Yeah.
I would assume
We're twins with powers.
Yeah.
What kind of powers would we have?
We can only come together.
Stop suggesting that.
What do you
All
mean?
the time.
You mean off the podcast? Yeah. I'm lonely. All right, what's our special twin powers?
Good Lord. I mean, I think
you know everything and I can do everything.
I don't hate that. Like the idea is like, yeah, you could build a thing or you could,
but I'm too dumb to know how to do it.
but yeah, I know how to do it. Yeah.
Describing our relationship.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it only works if our dicks are touching.
Time to dock.
Dock toward DC.
Yeah, I think we got this.
Yikes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
That's
it.
it.
It started as a good idea, then became a bad idea, but
Which side is which? Who knows?
I stand by it.
Hell yeah. All right, next question from
Okay.
Teach Me I Learn. And they ask, are there twins that are split? Like one is good and one is bad?
I mean, you know, we talked about it a bit, but like Jade and Obsidian kind of fit that bill.
Yep.
You know, they start together, you know, like they find each other and they start Infinity Inc., which is like a bunch of characters carrying on the legacies of the original
Totally.
Justice Society. It included like Silver Scarab and shit like that. And so Infinity Inc. was like a joint venture. They're both founders of that. And Todd's like kind of dark turn happens after that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of over now. It's sort of the big thing. But like he gets corrupted by Ian Karkull. You know, he's tied to the Shadowlands. He can also see. He kind of has the power to see like the inherent darkness in souls and stuff like that. Like anything darkness adjacent, Obsidian kind of has like
Yeah.
a finger in that pie.
Nice.
Nice. But yeah, I mean that's a pretty good example of one good, one bad.
Yeah.
Pretty major good example is Jade and Obsidian.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave Reddit and head on over to the doc score. Yep. Go.
A, B, C, D, E, duck scored, and your mom and your sister and you're scored.
Not your doc and you're scored.
Nope. I regret nothing.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Flawless as always.
I mean, at least this won't have to get edited.
I'm going to go in and edit it.
You edit that to make it worse.
Yeah. Not that I need to do
We're
anything.
both just editing, like cross-editing the...
Yeah, I'm going to keep the original version, and then like after you edit it, I'm going to go back. And
I was
read it.
wondering if you were going to do that, actually.
Who knows? That's a lot of
I mean, you won't.
That's so much effort.
That's more work than you would put in. I know you
Fuck
won't.
no. It's someone starts paying.
I if I want it, I get the last word.
Yeah, good for you. I hope
Listen,
you feel
make me
great.
feel like a big man.
Okay. First question from Doc Square.
Oh, I'm so big.
Thing you've never heard. That's
Yeah,
not true.
you don't say it to me constantly.
That's true. Ooh, yeah, Daddy, you're so big.
I don't like it. No.
Please get off that chair.
Yeah.
Is that you hanging yourself?
Well, only for a minute or two before the branch breaks. Yeah.
That's a big thing as part of Simon King's stand-up. Is that he talks about how he's like he has a friend who is like handsome, and he came in and he was like, "Oh, I'm a bit sad." He's like, "You know what I would do to be a bit sad?"
I've seen that bit.
Yeah, he's like, I
that's-
walk into every room and look to see what is strong enough to like, hang myself from. And he's like, that one's really good.
There's a bit in the movie The Man with the Iron Mask where Porthos tries to kill himself
Yeah.
and the barn falls down on
I do
him.
remember that, yes. That's a great scene. All right, from Witch Devil Sorcerer, who asks, was the 1988 film well received in the DC universe? Have the Penguin and Mr. Freeze ever commented on it? I'm confused. What?
The 1988 film Twins with
Oh.
Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, next question.
Yeah, the one, there's the pussy I've been looking for. Chill.
Yeah.
Cool party.
Yeah. I don't know what those two have to do with that, but
Because they played the...
I know.
So the joke is...
But they've never been in the movie together.
I mean, they have. They've been in both...
Was Penguin in that movie?
Oh, sorry. No, they haven't. Like,
This is
those
what I mean.
characters haven't.
That's
Yeah,
that's
I see.
yeah.
I was going to say, because Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger were also in Junior together.
Yes, yeah. Great
Yeah.
joke. Moving on. Next question comes from the marvelous Ryan. You fucking will make the fucking jokes here, right? Funniest podcast in Canada.
Yeah, let's slow the fuck down, huh?
Did you hear all that fucking docking shit we put in there?
That was great
Yeah.
and not a problem.
No. If it's still in the podcast.
Yeah, or it's not, and this is beeped.
Yeah. This whole thing.
Yeah. It's for like a minute.
From Marvelous Ryan, can you explain the Wonder Twins 90s-ification in Extreme Justice? Was it a success?
So this
This
is
is the question. Yeah.
I went back and I read Extreme Justice #9.
Good
One of the
Lord.
most joyless comics I've read in a while.
Something called Extreme, too.
It's so fucking bad.
I wish that they would take extreme as in like Doritos and not extreme as in like horrifying.
Extreme Justice is just like truly so much of this issue was just like Maxima is like, amazing man, you're fit, and Amazing Man like leaves and he goes, oh, I would plow that. No, don't think that. And then Captain Atom is like, sometimes I wonder if I'm even worth it. Anyway, fly into space. And then and it's just like tonally it's all garbage. The art is horrible.
Good God.
But what happens in this issue is that this probe lands on Earth and Zan and Jaina get out.
Yeah.
And it's that classic thing where it's like humanity's horrible inherently because they are like fleeing like slavery or some shit like
Yeah.
that. And every time they encounter people, they get scared, their powers activate, people attack them, and then they respond
Sure.
because they're being attacked. Extreme Justice shows up and go like, "We'll extremely justify this."
Jesus.
I think eventually they join the team, but it's like they're like, "Why won't you listen?" You know, like it's so like fucking tortured.
Oh
like
my
everything
God.
is really dry. It's just joyless. There's no fun in it. Like I guess the powers look a little cool. Like Zan turns into like a water form of like some sort of like sea serpent. Like if the point was like make their powers not stupid, then like some of that works, but you don't have to sacrifice the like everything else about them. It's like, oh, they've definitely been tortured. They're escaping this horrible, like everything about it is like more and more extreme.
Do you think that Robert Kirkman is the only good thing that's come out of like 90s comics?
No, you get, like so much of Vertigo, like almost
But
all
I just
of Vertigo.
he feels like the distillation of like, what if you took the extreme thing and made it like valuable?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, like where it's like it's gory and shocking and that, but then we've gone back and reapplied story.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what it feels like. That Kirkman is very much, especially like I'm thinking of like Invincible and like a lot of the early Walking Dead and stuff. Like feels very much like what if we took extreme and made it like grounded.
I know what you
Yeah,
mean. Yeah. It's at any rate, Extreme Justice #9 is like not worth your time.
Yes. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question from Mullet Overlord, who asks, "What is it about the Speed Force that makes Flash is extra fertile and almost always producing twins?"
Okay, I left this question in just because I feel it's important that I say that that's not how twins work.
Yeah, you don't just have like more come and you get more kids.
That's not in any way.
Yeah. It's not like the less fertile, the less child you get.
Yeah. Be like, oh, I only got a quarter of a kid.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
I left the tap on. I've got quadruplets.
Yeah, we had sex 3 times that night.
Yeah.
Oops. Like, there's no.
He got in there so fast, he made more kids.
Yeah, I just feel it's important. I really want to make sure you all understand
That's not how babies
that's
work.
not how twins work.
And that's coming from you, so you know it's common knowledge.
That being said,
Yes, that's exactly why.
That being said, I'm gonna throw this out there. So we've already talked about the Tornado twins, Dawn and Dawn.
Sure.
We've talked about Jay and Irie West.
Sure.
Wally's kids who are twins. On the show, they've made it so that Impulse and XS are twins
Are they?
or just siblings. Now I'm not. Now I'm not sure about that one. But at any rate, there's a lot of Flash procreation.
Sure.
I'm going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
In the case of identical twins, like the single, like zygote or whatever,
Yeah.
fully splits in half
Yeah.
and then just keeps like
Yes.
producing.
Yes.
And theoretically, the Flash twins should be, if it's about the powers,
Yeah.
should be identical twins, because you could do something about like as it's dividing, it's, you know, it like they phase or the
sure.
vibrations and they like break apart. You know what I mean? Like there should be some shit like that. If it's about
because Barry's fucking so fast.
if it's about the
it's
powers
coming out and separating as it's going in.
Good Lord. If it's about the powers.
Sure.
But it's clearly not, because all of those examples I gave are fraternal twins.
That's true, yeah.
So I can't believe I'm saying this. It has nothing to do with the Speed Force.
Unless he's just shooting it in so fast he's getting multiple in.
You're just saying with the questions that's not how it works.
Well, no, I mean multiple sperm can get inside the egg at once.
But that doesn't make twins.
That can-
the egg just selects one.
But maybe that's how
Fraternal twins is when 2 eggs get released. Both get fertilized.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. It's the eggs, not
yes,
the
I
sperm.
know I'm right.
Yeah.
I understand biology.
I mean, I do too, but I was getting
but
the two
not
mixed
periods.
Yeah, for someone who's so good at
I
English.
understand real science.
For someone who's so good at English, I'm surprised you know so little about periods.
Listen, I just don't know that much about McDonald's.
Anyways.
Yeah, I think what I'm saying is definitively
No.
The Speed Force is not part of
Okay.
them having twins. Unless the Speed Force itself is like, we should have more of these, and like Speed jiggles an ovary until it looses another egg.
This is what I'm wondering.
That, some sort of divine intervention,
Yeah.
or just from the pounding.
Yeah. Well, that's what
I
I was
think another egg came loose.
Yeah. You fucked me so hard 2 eggs came loose.
Listen, that'd be an amazing thing to hear,
Hell yeah.
I guess.
I don't yeah.
I don't know. At first I thought it would be like a braggadocio sort of thing.
Now you're realizing that.
Fucked another egg loose.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you'd know or what that means or
I Humpty Dumpty her. I just like all the eggs come tumbling down.
oh
I Humptied her dumb.
Jesus. I don't like this anymore.
Let's keep digging. We'll find oil eventually.
Good Lord.
Next question comes from Ryan the Prime, who asks, are there any alien twins in the DC universe?
There are. Well, I mean, we've already talked about Zan and Jaina. They come up from a planet called Exor. They are
going to give it to you.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Or Barry Allen gonna give it to you.
Yeah. Oh no, I can feel those eggs loose. I'm gonna give it to you so hard today, baby. I'm gonna lock a few of those eggs loose.
Good Lord. There are other alien twins, though. If you think about the Legion of superheroes in the 31st century, Lightning Lad, Garth Rands, has a twin sister, Ayla Rands, and she's Lightning Lass. Interestingly, if I'm remembering this correctly, they're a weird exception to the Legion thing because they don't actually, their whole race doesn't have lightning powers. They get, like, their planet is like a lightning planet, but they get their powers from like an encounter with a lightning beast. But most people on their planet don't have lightning powers.
Oh, okay.
But both Ayla and Garth do. And I think at one point Ayla tries to claim that she's like Garth reincarnated or some shit like that. But yeah, they're twins who are legionnaires who have powers. They're from, I can't remember the name of their planet, but yeah, them, right. Zan and Jaina. I don't think Starfire and Blackfire are twins. Other alien twins. Nothing else coming to me right now. Those are the kind of 2 big ones, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Lilith, who asks, is there a reason for why despair and desire are twins? Given the nature of the endless, I don't understand the usage of such a specific label like twins.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the endless are ideas, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, they can die. You know, Morpheus dies, and Daniel Hall becomes Dream. So just because the universe needs something to fill that position doesn't mean they themselves are necessarily.
But is it like trying to say something that like despair and desire are always connected?
In Sandman, they do make reference to like the order of things. That like when the first thing dreamed, Morpheus came into existence.
Mm-hmm.
When the first thing died, death came into existence. Death talks about being the last one. You know, put up the chairs when the universe is done. Turn the lights off on the way out. You know, like that kind of thing. So there is like a sequence to them. So in that sense, despair and desire being twins means that they come into the world at the same time. And I think that's meant to be about that kind of like the agony ecstasy swing.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm talking about a thing that I know from theater training.
Mm-hmm.
This is a slight tangent, but I think it'll help. In physical theater, when I was in theater school, they were training us in this thing. It's like, you know, what happens when you cry really hard, like you're sobbing, or when you laugh really hard? It's kind of the same thing.
Sure.
Like physiologically, you know, the way your diaphragm moves, the way you're breathing, the like kind of, you know, the haze of it. And so then we would do these exercises to like reverse engineer it. You're like, if you can recreate the physiological response, your body will tap into an emotional response.
Sure.
But what would happen if you were truly open to it, which is difficult, you got to like put a lot of your this is stupid fucking hippie bullshit kind of aside, is that you would be sobbing and then laughing and then sobbing with no motivation.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's because it all sits on this agony ecstasy swing, which is also just like another way of saying a spectrum. It's a less sexy way of saying a spectrum. It's a swing, baby.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's the implication with despair and desire is that they're each side of that, right? Like,
Sure.
What's the range of how we experience and process things? Is it despairing and horrible and awful, or is it, ecstasy? Is it amazing, ecstatic, desirous?
Either way,
you
I'm going,
know?
"Ah!"
Yeah, you come either way.
Yeah.
But,
More on the despair.
but to me, that's what that means. That if they came into the world at the same time, it's because they're the two ends of emotional experience, basically. It's a different version of emotional experience from the emotional spectrum, right? But
Sure, yeah.
it's the idea that, like, why would... There's no reason for happiness to exist before things. It's like at emotion,
Yeah.
they both exist,
Totally.
right?
All right, next question from First Mage, who asks, what do you think the Legion saw in Triplicate Girl's powers that made them offer her a membership? Are her components twins or triplets in the traditional sense?
Yeah, so Triplicate Girl, her name is Luornu, like Dorg or something
Jesus
like
Christ.
that. I mean, the Legionnaires are crazy. She comes from the planet Karg. And Kargites,
Yeah.
well, it depends on the version. In some version, Kargites could all make a couple of duplicates of themselves.
Sure, yeah.
And so, but it's like finite. She was Triplicate Girl, and one of them got killed. And she went by Duo Damsel for a bit.
Oh.
Just the saddest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And they like could feel the absence of the other. Like, yeah, it's fucked up. But there's a, I can't remember if it's the 3-boot Legion or which one it was, where she's like alone. She's alone on the planet, and then but she could duplicate like an infinite number of times. She just populates the planet with herself. 3 of them go off and like join the Legion, and when they come back, the rest are like, you're contaminated.
Oh. And
so she just stays with the Legion as just 3 of them. I can't remember if that's when she's called Triad or whatever, but if we go with the version that it's biologically part of Kargites, that they can make, let's say, 2 replicants of themselves. Or more accurately, that they can split themselves into 3 equal parts. Those are, I guess, technically twins/triplets. It's just instead of splitting at the egg phase, you're splitting at like the full being phase.
Yeah.
And if it's like a biological thing, then that means that it's just, like every Kargite is a triplet, essentially.
Oh.
They just happen to all live in one body until you know what I mean? Like, it's a different frame of reference, but they're essentially 3 beings, Do
they count as triplets?
In a sense.
Sure.
Because, if you could feel the miss, like, if you can miss them when one is gone, you can't replace them.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Now, what does the Legion see in her? I mean, the whole point of the Legion is to bring in people with powers native to their planets that are helpful in other situations.
Yeah.
Triplicate Girl has the power to like go in as one and split up, do multiple tasks. That has a use.
Yeah.
So, especially compared to like other Legionnaires.
Sure, yeah.
Pretty useful. I actually think she might be the first recruit.
Oh, wow.
After the original 3 that found the Legion, which is Saturn Girl, Cosmic Boy, and Lightning Lad.
Yeah.
I think Triplicate Girl is next.
Oh, wow.
She's the next one to join the Legion. So she's relatively important, I would say.
Totally.
She ends up with Bouncing Boy. She's in a romantic relationship with Charles Foster Tane, a.k.a. Bouncing Boy.
Wow. All right. Speaking of multiples, next question comes from Stump Chunkman,
Step into the stump. Stump Chunkman. Bleh.
who asks, is there a DC equivalent of Marvel's Multiple Man?
I mean, I'll talk about shit. What's this? Fucking name? Multiplex. I'll talk about Multiplex. Do I fully understand like the parameters of Multiple Man's powers in Marvel?
Yeah.
No. Like I don't know. Like if he makes multiples and they all go back in him, does he get all of their knowledge and stuff like that? Because Triplicate Girl, that is what happens. Like if the three of them have different experiences when they all merge back together,
Yeah.
Luarnu has all of their memories and experiences. I think that's also true of Multiplex.
Okay.
Danton Black. He's a Firestorm bad guy. He gets his powers in the same science explosion that makes Firestorm.
Sure.
But he gets the power to split. Where Firestorm is merged, two people merged together in the Firestorm matrix. Danton Black is split.
Mm-hmm.
He can make like a bunch of like infinite, but
Yeah.
I think it takes it out of him a bit.
Sure.
I don't know what I think when they die, he just loses them. I you know what I mean? Like I don't think he misses them. It's
Not
not
the
like
same way,
it's
yeah.
not the same. He's like making copies,
Yeah.
as opposed to them existing and just being
Yeah,
housed.
yeah.
The trouble with answering this question is I just don't fully understand what are the rules for Multiple Man, but on its surface, they are both characters that can split themselves into seemingly innumerable
Yeah.
copies. Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Last question from JK. No, for real. I'm going to ask a question. I'm not just kidding.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It all begins with JK.
Oh.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
kiss begins with K.
Yeah.
Oh, you idiot.
Wow.
It all doesn't begin with K.
Only kisses do.
Stupid idiot.
JK.
Yeah.
Who asked?
Simmons.
What?
Are you fast or slow?
What?
You said JK, I said Simmons, and then I went into Whiplash.
I'm so. Oh, J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
I think he said Cinnamons.
Yeah, JK Cinnamons.
Simmons.
That's me pitching Ben and Jerry's.
Jesus Christ. All right. J.K. asks. You
Sorry.
got another one?
I was going to say, is Chiplash better? But no, it's JK Cinnamons.
Yeah. Chiplash, actually.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
At any rate.
J.K. asks. Arguably, Kate Kane / Batwoman's most prominent enemy is Red Alice,
Yeah.
a.k.a. her twin sister Beth.
Right.
What do you think of their dynamic together? And do you think that they put Beth back to the side of the Angels too early?
I don't think that. So the whole thing is that like Beth gets like abducted like years earlier
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever, right? And when she comes back, she's part of like the religion of crime. If I would recommend everybody read Batwoman Elegy.
Okay.
It's a great story, great Batwoman story. It involves the religion of crime. It involves Beth. Yeah, I mean, she even dies and gets like brought back, maybe by the religion of crime, by the cult of crime. I can't remember. But my short answer to this is I don't think that she was brought back too early. She eventually like teams up with Batwoman. They work together or whatever. I think the arc of her, getting abducted, whatever happens to her, coming out kind of broken, you could theoretically say it's too late, like Two-Face or whatever, and be like, this, one-time friend, close, whatever, is gone now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's like the thing with Two-Face is that like what do you call him? In the cartoon they called him Big Bad Harv, but just that the Two-Face persona was always in Harvey. It was like inevitable.
Sure.
There's like a fate to him.
Okay.
What happened to
So
Beth?
did you
what
think-
happened to Beth isn't. She was a kid, just a normal kid.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me when that gets rectified. She's brought back. Like,
Yeah.
could you stretch it out and make more of a when will she ever get through to her sister thing? Like, I guess you could, but for some of those, it just doesn't feel like the natural arc. Like, even look at like Flashpoint Beyond and what they do with Martha as the Joker. She's still definitively the Joker. This is in the Flashpoint universe. Yeah. But like the dynamic she and Thomas have is like, but we both know that we're the Waynes, you know, like, and they have a understanding with each other, you know, like, because I think that's the natural arc. Like, it's one thing to say like, and now they're enemies, but it's like, they're not really, you know what I mean? And I think because the religion of crime has such a cult thing too, there's an element of like the deprogramming thing. You want to see her break out of it, you know, like, I think you thematically set up all of these different things with Beth where it's actually not satisfying if she doesn't come back around.
Sure, yeah.
Like, you need that to be the button on the story, because otherwise it's like, well, then why did we do this?
Yeah.
It's just sad. You know what I mean? And so for me, no, they didn't wrap it up too much. But I definitely recommend everybody read Batwoman Elegy.
Nice.
Very, very good book.
Hell yeah. All right, well, that was the last question. We would love to hear from you, residents, and maybe you can send us a question for next week's episode.
Yeah, did I figure out what that is? Interesting question. I did not. So, I don't know, just watch socials and shit.
Yeah, those socials are our Facebook.
Yeah, Dr. DC Podcast.
Our Twitter.
At Dr. DC.
Instagram.
Dr. DC Podcast.
Or email.
drdcpodcast@gmail.com.
That's subreddit.
r/Dr_DC.
The doc phone is always open.
208-917-3238.
That's 208-917-DCEU.
If you're nasty.
We're on TikTok, though. We haven't made one in a while.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm mostly just there to lurk.
Jesus.
I mean...
that's a word to use.
Yeah, I'm lurking on comedy.
This is
comedy lurking.
This is what if our doctor looked like our producer.
Oh. That's good. That's funny.
And we also have a website.
drdcpodcast.com or .ca.
I know that for a fact because I had to send it as proof that we are a podcast the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To whom?
The convention.
Oh, did you send something to the convention?
Yeah. Did you also?
You asked me to.
Oh, yeah. Well,
to Vancouver?
We better get it.
So we both did?
Yeah.
That's going to look professional.
Whoops. You can also send us a review. Or some physical mail, but not to an address we've given.
How are we so bad at this?
We have Patreon. Give us money.
Patreon.com/DrDC.
I think we've just proved why.
We've got a $1, $5, $7 level. They all give you access to the Doc Squad, our amazing fan community. At the higher levels, you get bonus episodes, theme polls, all sorts of fun stuff that helps to support us.
What have they done for us lately?
Wow.
We have Ghostfacers, the main podcast.
The other podcast.
Based on the numbers of this one.
I mean, ignore the man behind the curtain. Yeah, Ghostfacers is a supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We talk about real world monster lore, behind the scenes stuff about the show. We are halfway through season 6 right now. It's a good time. Go check it out. Tell your friends.
It's Canada's best TV and movie podcast.
And we are Canada's funniest podcast.
Haven't you been laughing this whole time?
Isn't this good to hear?
Aren't you enjoying it from like a humor standpoint?
Ha, 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 you little cucks.
Hell yeah.
You rat fucks.
Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
Heroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.